y'all. Welcome to another episode of Real Talk with Shawn Smith. On today's episode, we is going to be talking about politics. Everybody's favorite subject, of course. And I have a guest, and she's going to introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Dr. Tracey Phillips. I am a Black conservative Christian woman, and I'm also the Education Projects Manager for Blexit, powered by Turning Point USA.
Yeah, that is very nice, ma'am. So anyway, ma'am, so with the politics and all that, so what made you wanted to become a conservative?
That's a great question. I actually have been a conservative for many years, probably since the late 90s.
Oh,
And I just, I've always been a strong Christian.
yeah,
But I used to separate, like many people do, I used to separate my vote from my faith.
yeah,
And so, although I would walk the Christian walk, when it came to voting, I always kind of was Democrat because my mother was Democrat, my father, everybody in my family, and that's what we were trained to do. And then one day, at work, a friend of mine who was a liberal, we were talking politics, and he said, "How do you choose?" He said, "Tracy, let me ask you a question." I said, "What?" He said, "How do you choose who to vote for?" And I was stumped because again, I never chose who to vote for. I just voted Democrat. So I said, "Well, let me think about it." I went home and I thought about it and I prayed about it. And God said, "Vote your values."
yeah,
So when I came back to him a few couple days later, I said, "You know what? I'm going to vote from now on. I'm going to vote my values." And I found, I thought about the three most important political slash Christian values, the ones that coincide. And I decided I would never vote for a candidate who voted non-Christian, according to
yeah,
these three. And overwhelmingly, I found myself voting more Republican than I did Democrat because I didn't find Democrats who voted according to Christian values.
yeah. Cause we as black family, our black family taught us to always vote Democrats because
Right.
they are for the people. They always saying that the Republican Party are the bad guys. Yeah,
And yeah, and there's for me there's no good or bad, Shawn, because all anyone who gets into politics is getting in because they want two things. They want ego and they
yeah,
want money. And it doesn't matter what party they're on because you don't go into politics like acting. You don't go into Hollywood and acting in such a corrupt environment unless you think you can feed your ego and make good money.
yeah,
So I don't think either party is necessarily quote unquote for the people any more so than the other. But I think that the Republican Party, at least in the last few years, has shown that their policies benefit people
yeah.
a lot more than the Democratic Party's policies.
Yeah. And can we get this in black people's head that the Democrat Party is not for, that they hurting, it's hurting them. Their
It
policies is hurting them.
Well, the good news is I think that eyes are opening up. I think that people are seeing it now, Black people, because the Black support for the Republican Party is higher than it's ever been in history. Well, before they, since the vote. So I think it is growing, and I think we just need to continue to help open people's eyes by planting seeds and let them know this is what's going to benefit you and your family. It's not about color, it's not about identity.
Yeah.
It's not, it's about policies that are going to benefit your family. And I think if we continue to do that, Black Americans will start to realize that the policies that they've been voting for were not beneficial to their families.
hmm It's so good that they think, okay, we get benefits, welfare checks and all that. That's still
That, yeah, it's the worst. And I understand people need it, and I'm not saying it's not a need, but every need has to be balanced with the cost.
Yeah,
And at what cost is this benefit, you know? Are they gonna, because you're giving the government the right to cut your benefits,
yeah,
and you can't argue, you know, tell you you can't go to work, and if you do go to work, you can't make more than a certain amount of money, which means you're never going to climb out of the pit. You're never going to climb out of poverty because they're never going to give you enough for you to climb out. They're going to give you just enough to stay. And as hard as it is, I know it is hard. I'm not minimizing it, but like I said, if people want to climb out of that, at some point they may have to say, you know what, keep your money to the government, and I'm just going to go out and do what I need to do work wise to bring my family up.
mm. Cause okay, because the left, of course, they put it in these people's head that women they can be single mamas. They don't have to take care. No, they don't need no men up in the household, and that's not good. And God did not design it that way.
Exactly. As a matter of fact, you know, when the all of those social welfare programs were put into the black
Yeah,
community, it was you had to not have a man in the home. And prior to that, there were most black homes were two-parent families. They had husbands and wives, which meant they had two incomes.
yeah,
The boys had a father figure. The girls had a someone to show them how to be treated by a man. Once the men were taken out of the homes, you've seen a rise. Come on, we've seen a rise in gang violence because young boys are going out into the streets.
mm-hmm,
We've seen a rise in teen pregnancy among
yeah,
black females. It's just the numbers are going up, and it all boils down to not having fathers in the homes, which goes back to the, depending on the government for money.
yeah. And it's like history repeats itself in the black community, but nobody don't want to talk about it. They feel some type of way and they get emotional.
Exactly. And I talk about this. I For Blexit, I have there's a Blexit YouTube page. We do trainings, and I have some trainings that anyone can go on. They're open to the community to watch. But first one I did was called Plantation to Plantation, and it talked about how we as Black people went from the physical plantation to a plantation in our head, a
Yeah,
plantation in our mind, because we're an emotionally, like you just said, we're emotionally driven people, and they prey on our emotions every
yeah,
time they want us to vote a certain way.
yeah,
Isn't that? And we still fall for it. That's the worst
yeah.
part. Why do we keep falling for it, Shawn?
I just don't understand that. I just don't. And this is with the view because I watch the view sometimes and
Oh
I
God.
love them, but they cannot tell me who to vote for. So
I can't stand the voice I of any of them. I hear their voices and I just start to grate. I cannot, and the stuff that comes out of their mouth is, I can't even turn it on. So I'm sorry.
yeah, it's like they getting really like they did have it good when Megan McCain was on there and Elizabeth Hasselbeck.
Not half. That's right. Not half so bad. Maybe a quarter, but but now it's. I can't even watch it. I can't even watch it.
Yeah, it's okay to have different opinions. We don't have to all agree on one thing.
Exactly. And I find that interesting because the liberal side, the
Yeah.
liberal side, they aren't tolerant of people disagreeing with them.
Hmm.
And yet they call the conservative side the ones that are intolerant. But I have a lot of friends, I have many friends who I don't agree with politically, but we're still friends.
Yeah.
I consider them still friends. So it's crazy, but it seems to me that conservatives or Republican side conservatives seems to be more tolerant of disagreeing
Hmm.
than the liberal side.
They be quick to cancel you.
Oh, I last week I had a relative, a distant relative of mine, after the debate put on her Facebook said, so if you're going to still vote for Trump after this debate, then you can unfriend me. And of course, I went on there. I said, well, I will never unfriend someone because of who they vote for once
Yeah,
every 4 years. But I'm voting for Trump, right?
yeah,
And it ended up being I think she may have unfriended me. I don't know. But I was like, if you want to do it, that's on you. But don't put it on me. And I'm like, and she said, well, I know who you I said, listen, she's like, I know who you are based on who you vote for. Okay.
really.
Yeah. Oh, if that's what you believe, that's fine. But yeah, it's crazy. So I lost a family member last week. Oh well.
Yeah, that is so sad. Of course, I had a couple of people had blocked me off of Instagram because they say just because you posted Trump. I'm like, really? Is he that bad?
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy, you know?
Yeah, before he became president, everybody liking him. All of a sudden, everybody hate him.
Exactly. Well, it's because I told someone this the other day. Imagine if in 2016 Trump came down that escalator and said that he was gonna run for president, but he said under the Democratic ticket instead of Republican ticket. Can you imagine? They would have loved him.
Yeah.
They all his money, all of his power on the Democratic side.
Mhm.
Oh, and then they would have the media would have just adored him. The media
Yeah.
would put him. We would be in a whole different world. The
Yeah.
reason they hate him isn't because he ran for president. It's because he ran for president under the Republican ticket. That's what makes
Yeah.
it angry.
But people just don't understand why they don't do their research about the Democrat Party, how the Democrat Party was created, and how they was behind the slaves and all that. But people, they don't want, they just keep on thinking, well, the Republican Party is not for us.
People don't want to do their homework. They would rather just listen to what other people say. That's why what I do with Blexit, the trainings that I do, I'm doing one that's coming out on the 26th of this month, 10 days, and it's called The Power of the Black Vote.
Hmm.
And I'm going to be talking about the history of voting when it comes to the black community in the Republican and Democrat Party. Oh, I'm calling everybody out. I'm calling everybody out. Okay, I got quotes from Lyndon B. Johnson. I don't want to ruin it, but I will tell you this. People don't know that the Civil Rights Acts that in 1957, 1960, do you know what he and his people called them?
What are they called?
The N bills.
Yeah.
Fill in the N, okay? But I go into a lot of detail on history going all the way back to slavery and abolition. So I'm going to be talking a lot about that. So I hope, your listeners are free to listen in. I'll share the link with you for people from your followers to register. But it's gonna be fire. It's gonna be fire because I'm calling all of them out.
Yeah, they, especially those people on MSBC, Joy Reid.
Well, I don't know about all. I don't want to. I don't deal. I'm calling all the ones from history out. Okay. I'm talking about Abraham Lincoln. I'm talking about Lyndon B. Johnson. I'm talking about, yeah, the Democratic Party. I'm calling all of them out in this video, in this training. Because we got
God.
we got to understand the power that the black community has when it comes to elections, and we have to stop giving that power away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's true. But yeah, we just hope people will wake up soon. It seems like most black people are waking up.
Some are, and some are still holding fast to that's what my grandma did, and that's what my mama did, so I'm voting Democrat, you
Yeah,
know?
because they feel like, well, we getting money and all that rent and stuff would be cheap. I have a friend that told me if Kamala Harris get up in the office, everything would be cheap.
But the did you tell her that Kamala Harris has been in office for 3.5 years and nothing's cheap? Did you
Yeah,
mention that to her?
I keep on telling. I'm just like, okay, well,
Kamala Harris has been in office for 3.5 years, and inflation is going up. Then what makes her think it's going to change just because her title changes? Wow.
yeah, all of a sudden, Kamala Harris, she was not doing the black card thing, but now all of a sudden she doing it, talking about she clean her greens in the bathtub. Who do that?
Look, if she did that, which I really doubt, but if she ever did that, ain't nobody eating them greens, and anyone who ate them gonna be like, I want my money back. I'm suing you. You cleaning your greens in the same tub that people wipe their behind. No, no, no. Oh God.
Then on top of that, this was before Joe Biden.
Yeah.
But he what he did, he went over to a black family house and gave them fried chicken. I'm like, what, that's all we eat is fried chicken?
It was so sad. It was so sad. But that's what they do. Is it's not like they when the election comes around, they give us what they think we want.
Yeah.
So, collard greens being cooked in the tub, nobody wants that. A fried chicken dinner, nobody wants that. But then they give us what's her name? Who performed at the um what's her name? The rapper, Megan the Stallion.
Megan, ooh, I can't. I
Oh,
had to start listening to her
Yeah,
music.
Megan the Stallion. What they do is they think, oh, all black people. They lump us together and think all black people gonna like Megan the Stallion, so
Mm,
we're gonna have her perform. All black
mm-hmm.
people like Beyonce and Jay-Z, so we'll have them perform. All black people eat fried chicken. If that's not the racist stuff I ever heard, I don't even know what is.
Yeah, and that I couldn't believe they lied, say Beyonce was coming. And
There's the the belief is that the numbers of people watching the Democratic National Convention were not very high.
oh, really?
So what they did is they told people, this is, I don't know if it's true. I'm not saying it's true, but I'm saying this is the rumor, is that they put it out in the media that Beyonce was going to perform so that people would start watching. But they knew full well Beyonce wasn't coming.
No, she not gonna
But
come.
I heard the rumor that they did that because the viewership was so low and they wanted the numbers to climb. So and you notice they did it right before her speech, right?
Yeah.
So it was to get more people to watch Kamala's speech because people were tuning it out. So
Kamala Harris, I don't know. People say they gonna vote for her because, she can do so much for the black community.
she ain't gonna do any more for the black community than Biden did, than Obama did. They didn't do any. I don't know why. I'm a therapist. That's my trade. I'm a licensed therapist. And we have, you've heard this before. The definition of insanity
Mm-hmm.
is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result.
Yeah.
Okay? First black president did nothing for the black community.
No, he didn't.
His vice president, who became president, did nothing for the black community.
Mm-mm.
So people thinking that this woman coming in to be the first woman of color, I don't even say she's black, a woman of color, if they really think she's going to do something for the black community, they're insane.
Yeah.
They're insane. There's nothing else. They're insane. So,
Yeah, they very insane. And you have, of course, these celebrities trying to convince people to vote Democrat.
no. That if nothing else, that really ticks me off because when someone like Taylor Swift, who has multiple private planes,
Mm-hmm.
okay, these actors do not live in our world.
No,
They
they
live in a
don't.
world of mansions, of
Yeah.
assistants to do their shopping,
Yeah.
of buying anything. If they want to take a vacation, they get on a private plane and they fly to whatever. and they rent out a, hundreds of $1,000s a night villa.
Mm-hmm.
They don't worry about grocery prices.
They don't.
They don't worry about gas prices. You know,
Mm-mm.
they don't worry about the influx of illegal immigrants because their mansions are on top of a hill and none of them immigrants can, and they got private security.
Yeah,
But yet, but yet they're going to turn around and tell us, the people who have to worry about being safe, meeting our bills, selling or buying a house,
mm-hmm.
buying gas, they're going to tell us who to vote for.
Yeah, and if you don't vote for that person, you is quote unquote the enemy. You mean you gonna destroy the country. Like,
Listen, I will be the enemy, okay? Shawn, look, sign me up. I will be the enemy. And if destroying the country looks anything like it did from 2016 to 2020, sign me up for that too.
yeah,
You know? Because I want the economy we had from 2016 to 2020.
yeah, everything was good. We had money and all. The rent was not as
Money,
high.
I bought a new house. My son bought his first house, you know? He got a great job. I mean, and you felt safe in,
Yeah.
in your world. You always felt safe. I don't have a problem with immigration as a
Mm,
whole if it's done legally,
yeah.
where people are vetted, where people are, give them background checks. They have to go out and find jobs. They have to go out and report. They got to learn about our country.
Mm-hmm.
I have no problem. I have many dear friends who came into this country or whose parents came into this country and went through the immigration process and
Yeah.
became citizens. Many. I love them, and I think it's wonderful, and that's what the American dream is supposed to be. It ain't
Yeah.
supposed to be run for the border.
Yeah. One for again get
Yeah,
benefits and
and go
why is
march your way.
homeless people up on in the street.
Exactly. That's not what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So hope if we're the enemy, and because we want safe streets, we want safe borders, we want gas, and we want food, and then I'll be the enemy.
Yeah. So Pete, do you think that Nikki Haley would have made a good person?
Well, I don't know if you know this, but I live in South Carolina.
Yeah.
Okay, so she was my governor.
Oh, we how did that
No, I liked her as a governor. I really
turn?
did. She was a good governor. I liked her. Um, but I don't know that she would have made a good president.
Oh.
Now I have a feeling she's going to run again. I do have a feeling because she's still fairly young. So I think she'll probably run in 2024 or 2020, I mean 2028 or 2030, 2032. Got to get my years right. Um, I think she has a lot of experience. She's got, she was a foreign diplomat.
Yeah.
So she understands foreign policy. She was a governor, so she understands how to run a state, which if you run a state, you can run a country because they're both the same, they're just bigger. I don't think now was her time,
Yeah.
but I'm pretty sure she's probably going to run again in another 4 years. And at that point, we'll get to see, you know, what happens. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna vote for her though, because it depends on who else is running. Because I have some favorites personally. So,
Yeah, I mean, my concern by her, to be honest, she backtracks.
a
Then
lot,
on top
yeah.
of that, she talking about she will raise the retirement age. And I'm like,
I'm getting near the retirement age. I'm not trying to have it raised. I'm like, no, no, no. Yeah,
I'm
she
like,
does. That's one of the things I don't like about her is she backtracks. But so does Kamala.
yeah.
Kamala backtracks, sidetracks. She does loop-de-loops. Kamala
Did
pays
she
stuff.
did she say that she was not gonna help black people?
Yes, she said that. And people just, oh, okay. She actually said that.
Yeah,
I don't have any policies that are going to benefit just black people. So
Yeah, and is she part of the fraternity, sorority, AKA or something?
I believe so. Yes, I believe
Oh,
so. I believe so.
they were saying during the debate, they were saying the lady that works for ABC News that she part of her sorority. I didn't
Yes,
know that.
yes, yes. And that's a conflict of interest right there.
Yeah.
That was a conflict of interest, right? And also, the I put this on one of my posts. The executive of ABC, one of the executives who was in charge, was one of her best friends and introduced Kamala to her husband.
See, that really shows.
Exactly. And they knew all of this. They knew this, and yet they still went forward with it, thinking that we as the general public would never put two and two together, that we wouldn't know.
Yeah,
And that's the part that angers me, is they think that we're too stupid to know what they're doing.
yeah,
And when it comes out, they, oh, you know what? You might be right that we might like we might be right. You know, we might be right. The whole thing was rigged, and you didn't think we'd notice,
yeah.
but they really didn't. They really thought that people would be just like, oh, it was. No, they constantly underestimate us.
Yeah, that's what they do. They trying to get us to vote for her, trying to change our mind. Oh, she intelligent.
Look, I'm not gonna say she's not intelligent because I don't know, but I am gonna say that she does not have what it takes to be president of the
Yeah,
United States.
I don't think so either.
Not at all. Not in any way, shape, or form. She does not have what it takes. You know.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I thought that she would be good when she became vice president because I had voted for her because I used to be a Democrat back in 2020, and then I did my research once I
Okay.
started listening to Kansas Orange side to her. I became a Republican to 2021.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't really know anything about her until the Democratic debates of 2020, you know? I didn't really know anything about her, but I'll tell you what happened. I was in Washington, D.C. in 2020, and I met this couple, and they were from California.
Mm.
And I said to them, I said, hey, they were black couple, older black couple. And I said, so are you going to vote for Kamala, for Democrat? And they were like, oh God, no. And I was shocked. I said, why? And they're the ones, this couple from California are the ones who told me about her criminal record, her record with putting black men behind bars, her, affair with I cannot think of his name.
Montel.
No, Willie Brown, Willie Brown.
Oh, really?
Her affair with Willie Brown, that he put her in the position of DA, that she was extremely corrupt, that she was a liar, that this couple told me on the streets of New York, and I was shocked. And then when I started watching the debates, the Democratic debates, um, that's when a lot of that came out. So I didn't really think too much of her at that point, but now I'm like, no, she's not presidential.
Yeah, because when I had watched that debate back in 2020, I was like, she seemed like she good. And then when it came that time, then her vice president, I was like, no, she did go to the border and all that.
How are you vice president or anything, and you don't even ever go to the border? And then go on national television, he asked her if she gonna go to the border. She told him, have I ever been to the border? I've never been out of the country. Oh my
Laugh.
God.
But she took out the time to be on these talk shows, The View and all that.
Exactly. 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 So
I tell you, these people something else.
they really
Even
are.
our good old friend Joy Reid.
I don't even watch, I can't do anything with Joy Reid. So I can't do anything with
She
Joy
say
Reid.
she despised Donald Trump because of the parking fire that took place long time ago in New York.
I don't know anything about that. Joy Reid is insane. She said she would vote for a corpse as president over Donald Trump. If you really think that and you really have that in your heart, then you have no love for this country.
Yeah, I mean, she claimed to be a Christian, right?
They all do. I don't even be. They all do. They all claim to be Christian. They don't even know what Christian is, so I don't even worry about it. They don't even know what
But
Christian is.
she did talking about white Christians. She
Yeah,
did mention that.
I don't know anything. I don't even listen to. I don't watch any of them because I can't stomach it. I can't stomach it. So it is what
So,
it is.
so yeah, it's very important for, of course, Christians should vote should vote based by the Bible.
I know, and that's what I like to do is, um, you know, I want to vote my values, and I'm always going to vote my Christian values.
Yeah.
That's it. You know.
But of course you had, because one day I was talking with my pastor one day, and he was saying, well, the Republican Party is about the business and the Democrat Party is about helping people. And I was looking at him like, okay.
That's ridiculous. And yet the Democratic Party is the one dividing.
Yeah, they sure is divided.
Yeah, the Democratic Party is the one that's dividing. So,
Yeah, and they get there in these people's head and talking about, oh well, we can help you. We the nice people. We here for you. Then that other party.
you know, like I said, they're going to say whatever they need to say to stay in power. That's all they want is to stay in power.
Yeah,
That is,
especially with the school choice. I think it's a good idea to have school choices because nowadays these public schools not teaching these kids nothing. How do I know? Because I used to serve at a public school, and these kids is wild nowadays.
and it's school choice. That's one of our pillars at Blexit. Our first pillar is school choice. That we believe that parents should be the first and last decision makers as to where their kids go to school and
Yeah.
what they learn. So people don't understand, and maybe they do, but they don't really understand, is that the reason we have such low performing schools is because the schools are funded through the property taxes of the people who live in the area. So if it's an area where they have a lot of money, a lot of high, rich, a lot of property that are
Hmm.
owned, a lot of homeowners, then more tax money is going to the schools in that district.
Yeah.
Whereas if say it's in an inner city where most people are either renting or they're on subsidies, so they're not paying property taxes, the schools in that area are not getting the money. Therefore, the schools don't have the resources to help the students. The answer to that, because it's not fair to the kids, that the kids should be given resources and given things based on where their parents, where they
Mm.
live. They should have school choice.
Yeah.
The money should follow the child. Period. So if instead of following the school, it should follow the child. So every child, and people don't know this, I used to work in education, right?
Yeah.
The State Department of Education of every state gets money, and they allocate an actual physical dollar amount for every single child in the school. The school gets the money, the
Mm.
public school gets the money from the state per child.
Mm.
So but it has to do with how many days the child is in school.
Yeah.
They call it seat time. So if you're already allocating money to the child, why force the child to go to a certain school?
Yeah.
That's why they don't want school choice, because what will happen is parents will take their children out of the schools that aren't doing well and move them to schools that are, because the money should follow the child, or move them to private school. They don't want to lose the funding. It all has to do with money.
Mm.
It all has to do with money. But and then on another note with it, it's not just about where your child goes to school, but it's about what they're learning.
Yeah,
And right now we have a big push for grooming by the transgender community
yeah.
and by teachers and so forth who really want to groom children. Someone asked me yesterday, they said, why? What's the purpose of exposing children to sexually explicit material at a
That's
young
sad.
age? It's because they want to normalize those behaviors in children when they're young, so
Yeah.
that when they get older, it won't shock them or they won't be turned off by it.
Cause,
So yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, and that's bad. Kids should not be learning that stuff at
No,
this age. They
no.
should be worrying about other stuff.
Just playing
Stay
and
in a
being children.
kid's place.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's what I mean is that they want to expose children early so that when they get older, they won't question it. So if you remember, I don't know how old you are, Shawn, but in my day, right?
Yeah, I was
Um,
born in the 90s.
okay, you're 90s. That's not so bad. That's not so bad. At least you're not an 80s child. I mean, a 2000 child. I can deal. So, but if you remember back in like say the 90s, right?
Yeah,
You never heard of gay parents in the
yeah.
they didn't talk about that. They didn't want
Mm,
to, not to say children didn't have gay parents, but they didn't talk about it in school, right? Then
yeah.
all of a sudden you started seeing books that came up with, Johnny has two mommies, you know, and they started normalizing it by reading stories and doing this and oh, it's okay for Johnny to have two mommies or Susie to have two daddies. And then they put it on television and you saw it
Yeah,
on TV shows. That's called normalization. And what they do is they kind of break down the barrier in your brain because the reality is if you see something often enough or you read about it, you're going to believe that it's true, even if it's not.
yeah. No,
And that's
it's
what it,
not.
right. So now a 6-year old, a 5-year old knows what having two mommies is. They know what having two daddies is, right?
Yeah,
Because it's already and they're trying to do the same thing now, but they're trying to do it with transgenderism
yeah.
and
And
all of
boy,
that.
if you say something, they will cancel you.
Oh, they'll try. They try. That's all they do. They can try, you know?
Yeah,
But
because we didn't have all this. We watching kids shows like on Disney Channel and Nickelodeon. They didn't have all that stuff back in the day. Everything was normal. But now
exactly.
you see that in shows, and I'm like, why do we have to have that right now? Like,
It,
really?
it all has to do with what they're trying to do with us in our head, in our mind.
Yeah,
If they put it in front of us and put it in front of us and put it in front of us, then we stop being shocked by it. And then we think, oh, it must be normal. And if it's normal, then why shouldn't they get money? If it's normal, why shouldn't boys come into the girls' bathroom? If it's normal, why shouldn't boys play girls' sports? Because it's normal. That's what they're trying to do. It's all mental manipulation. It's crazy.
yeah. Yeah, I know I'm gonna get canceled for this, but I won't have to bring it up. Black Lives Matter. What do you
You know what? I used to have a lot of thoughts about them, but they seem to have disappeared if you notice. You notice that? Look,
I had not heard anything. I guess Kansas Owens got them straight.
they took their money. They stole millions and millions of dollars from the white people
Yeah.
who donated to them. And then and black people too, but not me. I never donated a cent. Never
Yeah,
would.
I don't,
But I know people who donated. They took their millions, they bought their fancy houses, and they disappeared. Black Lives Matter, Shawn, is the best Ponzi scheme I ever heard.
Yeah,
It's the best Ponzi scheme. I mean, think about it. They convinced people that if you don't donate, then you're racist.
yeah,
They got and there was no accountability. Nobody was
no,
looking at the taxes. Nobody was, who's getting the money? Where's it going? They did absolutely nothing. Nothing to the with the black,
no,
any
they
black
sure
community.
didn't.
And then they took the money and they built their own houses in white
Yeah,
communities.
yeah, and they one of the co-founder was like, "Oh, I'm afraid of white people. I'm this name, but you stay in the white neighborhood, though."
But and here it is. Nobody's gone to jail around it.
Yeah,
Nobody's been arrested, been convicted. Nobody, they just said let them have the money. If I had donated $5 to Black Lives Matter, somebody gonna here give me my $5 back.
yeah,
I want my $5 back. If I had donated even anything, I would be on the phone, social media. I'd be taking them to court for my $5 back, okay? We'd be on Judge Judy or something because I want my money back because I ain't seen nothing, you know? But
but
no,
yeah,
now they just disappeared because they got their money. They don't need anything. They just disappeared.
yeah, and it's sad that most black people are naive. If you tell, because I tell people, yeah, I don't support Black Lives Matter, the
And
organization. And when you tell, they was like, well, you an Uncle Tom, you not well, we gonna take away your black card.
listen. First of all, I'm not defined by a card, and neither are you.
Yeah,
Second, if there was a card, I would gladly give it up. Okay? Because I have something better than a black card. I got a Christ card.
yeah, Christ card.
I got a Christ card. I will take my Christ card over 100 million black cards any day of the week. So let me keep
Yeah,
my Christ card. You go ahead with your black card. That ain't getting you into heaven.
no, it's not.
You
No,
know,
it's
it will
not.
be
Yeah.
denied at the gates. So
Yeah, and it's so sad because you look at the black community. Now it's just so sad that they dictate to the wrong thing, with this rap music, cussing, reality shows like Love and Hip Hop. I mean, I feel so bad for those women. Let those men just do them any kind of way. But of course, of course, some of us black people will accept that behavior. Like I told a couple of people, I'm like, that is not good how the black community is. It's like, well, that's how we are and all that. And like I one episode I was mentioning, left in the black neighborhoods, they need to stop putting chicken places and beauty supply stores. They need to start putting in grocery stores like healthy stuff. But of
exactly.
course I had some people that saying, well, you got this fun, you got to know what sells.
You know what? And it does sell, but it's sad that it sells.
Yeah.
You know, beauty supplies and all that. It's sad that that sells, and grocery stores with healthy food does not. They'd rather
Hmm.
have greasy fried chicken than a good salad any day of the week. But then they wonder why we have the highest obesity rates,
Yeah.
diabetes, high
Yeah.
blood pressure, heart disease. We're dying, we're killing ourselves every day of the week.
Yeah, all that drinking,
Yeah.
smoking, and stuff.
Just diet and lack of exercise, you know?
Yeah, yeah, and that's sad though. I'm like, the black community should be better.
But
Yeah,
we are in many respects our own worst enemy.
yeah,
Because a person can only do to you what you allow them to do.
yeah,
So, like you said, they should put more growth. If the black community stood up and said, we don't want another chicken place, we want a grocery store,
yeah,
right? And we're not going to go to the chicken place, guess what would happen? The chicken place would go out of business
yeah,
and but because the black people go to the chicken place, they're going to keep building chicken places.
yeah,
You know, it's But like I said, it is what it is. It's where we are, and that's what we do with Blexit. I've been a part of Blexit for about 4 years. Actually, this month, October will be 4 years. Well, next month, October will be 4 years. Started out like you as a member here in South Carolina. And then I moved up, and because my background is in education and training, I
Mhm.
became the training manager, and now I'm the education projects manager. So I handle all of the external projects that we do, education wise. But our biggest group in Blexit are the grassroots people, the people working in the states. We started in the grassroots chapter started in 2018
Mhm.
by Pierre Wilson, who is our senior director.
Mhm.
And he's now our senior director. And he and a handful of people just started a chapter on their own. They just started a chapter. And now we are in 47 states, plus Washington, D.C.
Mhm.
We have active chapters, and every single one of those chapters, our leaders are going into the Black community, and we are teaching and educating and serving and helping people, not just the community as a whole, but people in the community, helping them to do better, make better choices,
Yeah.
get out of the mindset of being a victim.
Yeah. True that.
Yeah, and we're promoting marriage. We talked about fatherhood. We're promoting two-parent families. We're
Yeah.
promoting entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Build your own business. Don't build your own business. We are promoting education, teaching and learning through what I do in my department. And then we're promoting school choice,
Yeah.
you know? Our mantra, if you will, is we basically are for faith, family, and freedom. And if the Black community would embrace faith, family, and freedom truly, then we could break out of all of the things that you and I just talked about as the negatives. We could break out of poverty. We could break out of low test scores. We could break out of bad eating and healthy habits. We
Yeah.
could break out of all of that. So that's what I do with Blexit.
Mhm. Okay. Yeah. It's like I said, I'm part of it. I don't know when the next event that they gonna have here in Texas.
They're
Which
doing a lot.
I'm,
They're doing a lot. I'll keep you up informed. I'll find out and let you know.
cause
I'll,
yeah, I stay in the Fort Worth area, Fort Worth, Texas. So,
yeah. We have a good active chapter in the Dallas Fort Worth area. So
oh
I'll definitely,
really?
yeah, I'll get you connected, you know. And
Yeah,
you can come
because
out to some of our events.
the last mean because I used to be a part of Turning Point USA. So
Oh, what? Okay, well then we really got to get you in. We'll get you
yeah.
in.
So
Well,
yeah, I was like, man, this is something good being a conservative.
but
Sometimes not easy though.
no, it's not. But you know what? You're not alone. You're not alone. There's a lot of us out here, and the numbers are growing every single day.
Yeah, and
So,
speaking of that, y'all had those organizations on campus like Prairie View and those
yeah. So
HBCUs.
Turning Point has chapters in high schools and college campuses all over the U.S. And Blexit Student Movement, we go out to HBCUs, and we have chapters at many HBCUs across the country. Don't ask me which ones because I couldn't tell you. But we do have chapters at many. I know Howard University has a chapter of Blexit. I know that one does because that was our first one. But we have chapters growing on campuses of HBCUs.
Hmm. So I believe y'all have one at Prairie View.
Maybe. I don't know for sure. I'd have to check.
Yeah. So yeah, for pray that everything gets better with the black community. Stop
I
repeating
Yeah.
the same history with this rap music and all these girls turkey and all that.
We all we can do is pray.
Yeah,
Pray and do stuff. Pray and work. That's what we need to do.
I to pray for the kids too.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah, man. I really appreciate you for joining me on this episode, Real Talk with Shawn Smith, the politic episode.
Thank you so much. And thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. I enjoy our conversation.
Yeah, it's a lifestyle podcast. No,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Well, it's wonderful. I'm glad. Thank you again for inviting me on, and I'll be happy to come back any other time. I can talk other things, but besides politics too. So,
Yeah, we can talk about other things. Yeah, well, I had people they talk about their testimony, about their relationship with God.
oh, I can now see that's going to take 2 hours. So, but we can definitely talk. Thank you so much for having me on.
Okay, then. So, what can people can find you at?
Oh, yes. So on Instagram, my Instagram is Dr. _Tracey Tracey Traveler. So I want to make sure I get it right because my Instagram it's Dr. _Tracey Traveler Traveler. They can find me on Instagram there, and on Facebook it's Tracey Phillips. Tracey
Hmm.
M. Phillips.
Okay. Before I let you go, so Kansas Owens, how long you met her in person, right?
Yeah, I've met her a couple of times. Yes.
A couple of times. I feel bad because I'm glad that she like mentioned me on her story.
Oh,
That
did
time
she?
that time last week her YouTube channel was suspended.
Oh, yeah, I think I
Call
heard about.
me.
Oh, okay. Well, I have got to get going because I've got a 2 o'clock I've got to jump into.
Okay
But thank
then.
you so much. I know you'll figure out the ending of this and before you upload it.
Okay then. It was a pleasure interviewing you.
Thank you. And please make sure you tag me when you
Okay.
upload it, okay?
Okay then.
All right.
Thank
And
you so.
also tag Blexit.
Okay, most definitely.
All right. Take care, Shawn.
You too. Bye.
Bye bye.